Customs. In this video series, I'm going to be turbocharging the Porsche. Now, it's not a real Porsche, it's a fiberglass race body that's on a custom chassis, and it has a 1600 Volkswagen motor out of like a 72 Volkswagen. It's a dual port 1600. It's actually a good motor. I've already had this car basically done driving, buzzed it around the block, buzzed it on the highway. Everything is running great. I'm actually really happy with how it is. I could pretty much do burnouts, do everything I want to do with it as is. But obviously, since it looks like a Porsche, I got to have a little bit more shit to it. You know, you can't have a Porsche racing body with 70 horsepower. So going with a turbo, I've seen lots of guys online and how they're doing it. I didn't want to go crazy with it because obviously, if you get into like super high boost, 24 pounds of boost, whatever. You can't have stock stuff. Well, this is a bone stock motor. It's been rebuilt, I know that, but I know they didn't use, forged crank and, all that kind of stuff that you would like on a turbo motor, or on a high boosting turbo motor, I'll say. So everything's pretty much stock. Even though it's running great, I don't want to push it. I don't want to blow anything up and have to redo anything. From what I've read online, from what I've seen, guys, they can get away with a stock motor. 8 to 12 pounds of boost, they do fine. No problems, no issues, no drama. When you start pumping that up to 16, 20, that's when you got to start adding race, engine parts to it. You can't just kind of get away with it. So I'm just shooting for like 8 to 10 pounds, no big deal, should be fine. Really, you won't really even have boost 99% of the time you're driving. The way it's set up, you'll just have boost when you hammer it. So your day-to-day driving, you're really not even gonna draw that many pounds. But if you want to get on it, that's when it's gonna kind of spool up a little bit faster and go. So I have worked on turbos before. I've built turbo piping for people before. This will be my first build from scratch. I know pretty much how they work, but of course, just because you've read and just because I've tinkered with stuff doesn't mean I've ever built one from scratch. So this is kind of a learning process I'm excited about. Also, I'm doing a draw-through turbo, which I really don't know that much about. The other ones I've used were blow-throughs, which is kind of like their own thing. All computer-controlled stuff, which I've had to wire up before. This is all mechanical, pretty much no computers involved. It will have an O2 sensor on it, but that's pretty basic. But let me show you what all I got so far. One thing I found doing this was just how much more stuff than you would think. Naturally you see a turbo, you go, oh, I need a turbo. Well, yeah, duh. But you also need a boost gauge, you need a wideband, which like I said is like an O2 sensor. You gotta have that to measure your air and fuel. That way nothing's running lean or rich, because you can blow up your motor if it starts getting too lean. Obviously, you're gonna need a lot of piping because your carburetor is gonna have its own pipe, and then the pipe is gonna go from the turbo into the motor. Then you're gonna have your exhaust going into the turbo, and then an exhaust out of the turbo. So I need all that. I already bought a new exhaust for it, which I knew I was gonna cut up, but luckily they're like, I don't know, they're like 50 bucks new, they're nothing. I have the original one as well, so I can cut those up and make stuff. And then I went ahead and got some other piping that I know fits the inlets and outlets on the turbo. So ended up needing a bunch more stuff than I obviously thought I was gonna need, but I kind of knew it was coming. I just didn't realize how much I did need. So my distributor right now is, I sent it over to a buddy who's turboed these before, who I'm probably going to be getting some help from. I sent it over to him, and he's modifying it so it'll handle all the extra boost and also speed it up and blah, blah, blah. And it has to kind of float, change as it goes. It's all kinds of complicated shit I don't know how to do. But should be a lot of fun. Also, another thing, you have to run oil to your turbo. So I had to get an oil kit right there. So I'll have to pipe all that in from my motor so I can pump oil into the turbo and out. So should be a lot of fun. I have already cleaned everything up. So I got everything cleaned and ready. And really, I'm ready to start bending up some pipe and kind of getting some stuff figured out exactly where I need it. I got a new generator as well because it was bad. It already came in, so I'll probably get that installed, and then that way I'll know at least where all my stock parts are, so I'll know where all my tubing is going to be. Let's get started. It's going to be a very long. This will not be one video. I absolutely promise you that. This is going to be several videos. I originally thought my turbo was going to kind of be over towards the passenger side. The more that I'm looking at stuff, I think it'll probably most likely be over here more towards the driver's side, but I don't know until I get everything installed, and then we can start bending some stuff up. Still waiting on my distributor. It's gonna be back, I think tomorrow or the next day. So what I'm gonna do today while I'm waiting on that is these need to be connected. Obviously, these are my air intake. So I know these need to be connected. I don't know exactly where my turbo is gonna go into yet, but I know it's gonna go, it's gonna tee off of these two. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a pipe that'll connect these two and then go ahead and get the rubber hose clamps on and everything. And then whenever I get the turbo set up, all I have to do is drill a hole and then make a pipe coming off of that. But while I got everything broke down, while I got everything out of the way, the motor's never gonna be this stripped ever again. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand it all down and paint it. I already degreased it and cleaned it all up, but while I have it now, I'm gonna go ahead and sand it all down and repaint it. So, I'll go ahead and pop these off first, sand it down, and get to spraying. Funny thing that happened while doing this turbo build is I had to completely take the motor apart, that way I can run all my piping and stuff. And since everything's apart, I might as well clean it up and paint it. I mean, I'd be dumb not to. So the engine is really looking better than it ever would have been if I didn't turbocharge it, which is kind of a nice little, thing that's happening I wasn't planning on. But, the bad thing is, when I took everything apart, I got like 20 little pieces that have to be painted individually now. I was gonna just put them all back together and then paint it all at once, but then you don't really get everything painted as well as you want. So, I've been painting these little parts all day, trying to get it ready for reassembly. But it's, from what I've seen already, from what I've put together, it looks awesome. So, I got my oil pump block off done, I got my intake in pipe done, and now I'm gonna finish off my exhaust out pipe. There's a lot of ins and outs in the turbo, it's a pain in the ass. There's an in and out and in and out, so there's two of each. But I got all those done. I'm still waiting on my distributor, which I won't have until later on next week. And I'm also waiting on apart from my generator, but I should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this. This bolts to my turbo exhaust. I'm gonna weld this to my pipe, and then I know I'll be able to bolt this pipe to it, and then I can cut and change this pipe however I need to. But at least I'll have something I can weld it to. halfway there. Got our in pipe done, we got our out pipe done. We got 2 more sets of pipes to go, but probably at about the halfway point. I should have most of my parts in tomorrow or the next day. So I should be able to button this up and actually see it turning over and, you know, turbocharging this engine pretty soon. But thank you guys very much for watching. This is part 1 of the turbo build. Hopefully I knock it out in the next video. If not, it might be a 3-parter. We'll just kind of see how everything goes and how much parts come when they come. I know these snowstorms we're getting aren't helping out a lot, but thank you guys very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good shit they tell you to do in the videos, and check out some more of my other videos.